You know what scares me the most is that as we get older, we don't want to listen to what the doctors say. I'm going through this every single day with my mother. She doesn't want to take the medications that the doctors write. And the doctors themselves are really driving us crazy too because they are very busy. So they only spent about 5 seconds to look at a patient's chart. They write a very high dose of antibiotics because of a toothache to someone who has kidney problems, which is a huge risk. I mean, you have to call up the cardiologist, you have to call up the internal specialist, and as well as a kidney specialist to consult between them to write such medications. Unfortunately, they don't do it in Turkey, maybe in the biggest city in Istanbul, but around where we live, unfortunately, the situation of hospitals and doctors is much worse. So this is also something to consider when you move to the countryside, the healthcare. And as you get older and older, all that matters in your life is healthcare, right? This is so saddening. And it's not only you, it also affects the life of the people around you, the people who are trying to take care of you. If your children are trying to take care of you, it affects your children. And, it's just sad. I mean, I'm very sad. I get panic attacks and I get allergic reactions when my mother is sad. I get what is called genital ulcers around my mouth and the genital area because of the stress of my mother's health. When I see her in front of my eyes deteriorating, getting in worse and worse shape, it just drives me crazy. I feel so helpless. I just want to put her in the hospital 24/7 and have a private nurse and a private doctor. And unfortunately, the elderly doesn't want that either. Also, because we're not in the States, there are no facilities for the elderly, which are in good shape, where the people can be treated nicely without any problems. And money talks, like in everything else. Even in the States, I guess you need to have money to be able to go to a very wonderful, luxurious elderly home, old people home, where there will be a good qualified doctor, a good nurse that will take care of you, put you back in health. I mean, as healthy as possible at 80 or 90 years old. So again, life seems to be unfair, Then again, I look at these, the other older people in the village. This is a tiny village, obviously in Fakir, where there's maybe 40 houses. And when you don't have any money, when you don't have any children to take care of you, you just live as well as you can, and then eventually you die. I guess people die much sooner because they don't have children that can take you to a nicer hospitals and take care of them. But it's very sad to see. Would you like some coffee too? Make yourself a cup of coffee. Let's drink it together because we need to be strong. We need to be focused to take care of our elderly. It's a big responsibility to take care of the elderly. You need to learn everything about medication. In my mother's case, she had open heart surgery. She was going to have closed heart surgery, a very expensive one in the American hospital in Istanbul, with Dr. Genjo, and unfortunately he messed it up. He cut open the heart, so in the middle of the surgery they had to take her and then change the surgery into open heart surgery, which was a huge trauma. I mean, she could have died there easily, very easily. She could have died there. And when I think about that, my genital ulcers and my heart just races, just drives me nuts. Anyway, she survived. It's been more than a year now after that surgery. She never really recovered from it. You know, mentally, I guess, it's just so hard. Just so sad, you know. And then, you know, what to say. I mean, this is, health is so important. And you know what's so ironic is that my mother is 77 years old, 78 years old. Let's round it up to 80 years old, and I'm 50 years old. So there's 30 years of difference. So seeing how difficult her life is because of all her health problems, I should be taking much better care of myself, right? Well, I don't. I mean, even though I have such an example in front of me, I don't tell myself, you know, wow, you have to be careful to take care of yourself, you know, because similar things could happen to you too, and I don't. I don't leave the house, I don't do any exercise, I don't eat well, which means my mother is 30 years older than me, which means she's 80 now with huge health problems, which means when I will be probably like 65 in 15 years, I will have horrible similar health problems. Probably no money to go to a nice hospital because I'm spending everything on the silly things, like I'm collecting antiques, technology, Apple products, and it's like the spiral of life that is vacuuming you, taking you in. And then I'm like, you know, I can always end my life, I can always kill myself, commit suicide, whatever, but that's not easy to do either. First of all, as long as you have responsibilities, as long as I have to take care of my mom, as long as mom is alive, I'm not going anywhere. I will stay and take care of her because this is my responsibility, because she did so much for me. This is the least I can do, you know. And then, of course, after that, you know, who knows when she will pass, maybe in 1 year, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 2 years. After that, I don't know what I will do, what my life will be like, you know. I will probably have to sell this big house and then move to a bigger village with a 1+1 apartment, with a tiny little apartment, and learn to take care of myself, learn to cook, learn to clean the house and wash dishes and wash the laundry. Things that I didn't really learn until now, especially cooking. I really have to learn cooking. Because dying, I mean, taking your own life, it seems like the simple solution. But first of all, if you believe in any religion, or in all the religions, it's a huge sin, right? So, I mean, there must be a reason why in all those books it's written that suicide is a huge sin. Also, it's easier said than done, even though I did a lot of research on it, like some medication, some relaxing medications that you can overdose on and they take your life away. Like I think about Amy, what was her last name? MacDonald? What? She was such a talented singer. She sang Back to Black and everything. She drank a lot of vodka and she took some Xanax or some tranquilizing pills. And that did it for her. It was a sleep where your heart beats slow and slow and slow and then you eventually die. And some of my favorite people like Alexander McQueen, who committed suicide after his mother died as well. And my idol, the cook, the cook who did programs about cooking. I can't even remember his name now. He committed suicide. He hanged himself in a hotel room in France. What was his name? They did it. They did it. And I guess they weren't afraid of the hell and the sinning and all those things. So that's scary. That's something I can't think about until my mother dies. So I'm not going to think about it for now. But that guy, he had so much going for him, and so did Alexander McQueen. They had money, they had fame, they had opportunities. Why do you do it when you have everything? Because you're depressed. Why are you depressed with all the success? You do what you want in life, you have money. Why do you do it? I understand if you're broke as hell and if you have no way of making any income or something, but I don't understand when you have everything going for you. I should research that. I am interested in learning more about that topic. So yeah, I mean, it's a sad day because mom's health is bad. It's a sad day because even though I see that she is slowly killing herself, she actually, you know what? She's very religious, but she is committing suicide slowly. First, my sister first told me this, this is a way of killing yourself, and she's a psychologist, she should know. And it's true. It's so true. So by not leaving my room and not doing any activities, any exercise, and not eating healthy, I am actually killing myself too. Doesn't mean I have to do like Amy or other people who just ended their life. You can also end your life by doing it so much slower, by living an inactive and unhealthy life. But that means probably like 20-30% of Americans who are obese and inactive, couch potatoes like me, they are also committing suicide too. How is that for a thought? That's sad, isn't it? Anyway, so how do we break the cycle of depression to the point of wanting to end our life? How do we help our elderly? How do we get strong enough to survive, strong enough to help people in our family who need our help? Why can some people do it and other people have such a hard time doing it? And why do some people end their life even though apparently from the outset things are looking so good? I mean, Princess Diana, she seemed to have it all, but apparently she didn't. She was anorexic, she had so many problems and depressed. She was a sensitive cancer sign like me. She was very sensitive like me. But that is not enough. There are a lot of sensitive cancer signs who are successful. Sylvester Stallone is cancer. He writes screenplays even though he's old now. Tom Cruise is Cancer sign. So yes, we have creative genes, but we are sensitive, but still we can build a strong life, still we can learn to be strong. So I need to research that. I need to stay alive to at least help people like me who are thinking about ending their life, who are thinking about giving up on life, who are wondering like me, why are we so sensitive, fragile? Why we get genital ulcers? Why do we get allergies and all kinds of diseases because of stress? Why are we so damn fragile? I hate being so fragile and sensitive and caring and emotional. It's not a good thing. I wish I was a Taurus sign or a bull. What is it in Turkish? It's Koç sign. Like the strong Aries. Those are stronger people, right? If you believe in horoscopes and stuff. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. I just wish I had a solution for that. I don't. I wish I had an answer for that. I don't. I think most of us, 90% of people, maybe even 95% of people, they just live life like leaves on top of a river. We just go with the flow. We just let life take us. What we study, what we do as work, what we do in our marriage, with our children, with our elderly, I guess we just let life decide, which is so sad. So I am pretty heartbroken about that, and I really admire and respect people who can be more than just leaves on the water, who can be a tree with a strong foundation, and they can decide where to plant themselves and how to grow. Entrepreneurs like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and all the rest, Steve Jobs, and that can make a difference in this world. Jeff Bezos. And I admire them so much because it is so hard to make something out of nothing, to break the pattern of life, to really make yourself strong. It's so hard. Yeah. So that's that. Get a sip of your coffee and just enjoy the day. We say this so much to each other, just enjoy the day. Seize the day. Let yourself be in the flow. So scared. So scared. So scared about losing my mother. I guess this is what I'm scared most about, that she's just going to die one day. I'm just going to wake up and she'll be dead. And the fact that we know for a fact 100% that someday she will be dead. Someday I will be dead too, but I don't care about me dying, but I care very much about my mother dying because I love her so much, and there's only so much I can do for her. I can only, take her to the doctor, get her blood taken and analyzed, and then the doctor writing some sort of medication. Taking that medication and not taking it is up to her at the end of the day. I can't force her. I don't know. I guess, like my sister tells me, I have to be in peace with the notion that maybe she really does want to die, Maybe she really has decided she doesn't want to live anymore. I mean, why would she live, She sacrificed everything for her children, and look at where we are. She had 2 children from my father's previous marriage, two older brothers who are not next to her, and let alone being next to her, who threatened to sue her after my father died if she didn't, sell everything she has and divide it not amongst. Legally, she has to have 25% of the whole inheritance. They said, you're not going to take your legal share. You're going to be like a child and divide everything amongst us equally. Otherwise, we're going to sue you. We're going to make sure that you have no money. Which must have been so hard to hear for her. And we were in the US. We were not there to protect her. And she went through all of that horrible experience herself. And she treated those two stepbrothers like her own children, including cleaning their shit out of their slippers, and look at how they paid it back. I mean, life is just horrible. Like my sister who trusted her husband, but after the divorce, he said he's not going to give away anything, even though, for example, I had shares in a house and I made it to his name because of some company problems. And he said, you know what, I'm not going to give that back to you. And those shares are so valuable today. They're worth like $2 million maybe. And he's not giving it back to me. He says, I'm sorry, but your sister divorced me, so I'm going to take a revenge on that. I'm going to say to the police that those things are mine and I'm not giving them back. So people are just horrible. People are disgusting creatures. They are rotten to the core. I mean, dogs and animals are much better than human beings. So when you have a mother who sacrifices everything for you, and then you see her wanting to kill herself by not taking her medications and not eating what the doctor says and not drinking what the doctor says. So it is very, very saddening. It is very, very heartbreaking, And someday she will die. She said once, I spent a life worth of nothing. And once she said, I wish I had given birth to rocks instead of my 3 children. I wish I had given birth to rocks, inanimate object. A rock is just something that stays there, right? A rock is in the forest. It's a piece of rock. She said, I wish I had given birth to rocks instead of children. That means she must have been so disappointed in her children, including me, that she wished she never had children. And probably that she had never married my father, because they had a very unhappy marriage. So, yes, life is so sad. So many of the marriages are sad and unhappy. So many lives are unhappy in this world, and we don't know anything about it. We just think especially with social media showing us everything is la la li, lo lo lo, everything is white and pink and roses and beautiful. Even though we know that it's night, I guess we just want to look at Instagram and see a beautiful fantasy picture. I guess that's why we like fantasy novels and movies, where we can just escape to a land of beauty where everything is beautiful. In fact, it is not at all. Yeah. So I guess that's it for today. I will see you when I see you, and thank you for being there with me. And please let me know if you have similar experiences, what your troubles are in the world, and what makes you sad, what difficulties and challenges you had to overcome in life. I would love to hear about that and share that pain, share those wisdoms and difficulties and see if I can help in any way as long as I'm alive. I don't know for how many more months or years I will be alive, but I'm there for you. See you. Thank you.